Tell me about yourself, introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Daniel, a computer science and artificial intelligence student from Sapienza with some kind of entrepreneurial spirit and a passion to read and learn about really anything that makes me curious enough.
Okay, so Daniel, where are you from and how did you make your journey to Sapienza?
Okay, I'm from southern Italy and I decided to study in Sapienza because they offer this bachelor's in English, which is kind of rare in Italy. Most things are in Italian, as you can as you could notice if you travel to Italy. Like everybody doesn't know English very
See.
well. It's not really
See.
in a culture as much as it is in India, where
Yeah.
you do school in English, right?
Yeah, kind of true.
Yeah, it's definitely not like that in Italy. So I moved to Rome because there was this bachelor's which was already in English, and I wanted to do that to expose myself to people from all over the world.
Okay.
And there wasn't much choice, so I applied. I did my SAT test, and I got into this bachelor's in Rome.
Okay, so it's interesting that you are an Italian and you are doing your bachelor's in English, which is quite the thing because all the Italian friends I have, they have done the bachelor's in Italian. So why is that so? Why did you choose a bachelor's in English?
So an interesting story I can tell you is about high school when. Basically, I started high school and I didn't really know what to do, but I set for myself one goal. I said to myself, okay, if there's one thing I want to learn out of high school, it's gonna be English. Like if I came out of high school learning nothing at all, but I learned English, that's my goal. So in high school there was this other classmate of mine, Jonathan, and we decided to always speak English with each other, even though we were Italians. So in high school I learned English because I saw some international open-minded paths that not knowing English would have not exposed me to. And yeah, also sensing some serendipity of being exposed to everything that's happening in the world, so yeah, I learned English, and this was my international worldview that led me to Sapienza studying computer science and AI in English, even though it's uncommon and I'm Italian in Italy.
Ah, that's very nice to know. And tell me, Sapienza, it's a very premier institute in all of Italy. It's ranked number 1 or number 2. So tell me your experience in Sapienza so far. How are the courses and how do you feel it is to be?
Okay, so I guess when you go to university, you go to university for 3 things.
Yeah.
One is the people you meet, the network, the professors, the classmates, all the people that you meet at events and stuff like that. 2 is the actual skills you learn, so the courses, the science, the mathematics, the computer science, the programming, all the academic stuff. And 3 is, of course, because you get the piece of paper, the certificate, the degree, and you can do things with that. If you want a job that allows you that opens to you some doors. And also if you are more entrepreneurial, having a tech background based on what kind of business you want to start may make you more attractive to investors and everything. So Sapienza, for all 3 of these things, when it comes to of course, Sapienza is number 1 in Italy, and actually Sapienza is the number 1 in the world when it comes to humanities and history, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a little less competitive when it comes to tech science, computer science, but it's still very, very, very good.
Yeah.
And considering how much it costs to get a degree in other countries and in Italy, the price opportunity you get with a degree at Sapienza is unbelievably high.
Yes, I agree because Sapienza, the cost is too low. I mean, for you it's low because you're staying some Italian scholarship from Sapienza, and for me, being an Indian student, it's really low. For the Indian students, the tuition fees bracket is much lesser than what it should be, and then with the scholarship it gets 0. So yeah, they provide a very good opportunity, that's true. And here comes my next question. as an applied computer science and AI student, like you have computer science and AI together. So I will obviously come to this. What do you think about this recent AI boom that is going on in the world with the use so much like open use of ChatGPT in the coding and everything? So what is your take on that?
I think two metrics that are very interesting and quantifiable to measure any kind of productivity or utility in the world are time and money.
Yeah.
So if something makes you save a lot of time, or makes you do something 5 or 10 times in less time, or makes you 5 or 10 times more money, or makes you save 5 or 10 times more money, then this thing is very useful. There's a lot of value and utility in this. Like, these are two numbers you can measure. Now, hours, you can measure them in like time, you can measure it in hours.
Yes.
Money, you can measure it in dollars, euros,
Yes.
Bitcoin, whatever you want. And something I see with ChatGPT is that especially for tech people, it's really making them build the same products in much less time.
Yeah.
So you can actually kind of like measure the amount of time and energy saved. But when it comes, like, if your view will be to like for ChatGPT and all this kind of AI stuff to replace actually engineers, like, we will see what happens. I can't predict the future. That's probably gonna be a much longer journey. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there will be another breakthrough, and the world will change in ways we can't even imagine.
Well, with this, I would say ChatGPT or Gemini, if it would be, the job of AI is to complement the human effort. Like, we can do things to some extent, and then AI can help us do things further. So we can make more extra developments. Like, we can do it faster.
Exactly.
AI can help us instead of competing with AI. We can like AI can assist us, and we can go further. So that's the idea of AI. It should not be humanity versus AI. It should be humanity and AI. Do you think so?
Yes, exactly. There was a lecture from Lex Friedman at MIT about artificial general intelligence, and I remember a beautiful slide, which was this slide where there was like artificial intelligence as a black box.
Yeah.
And so we put reality and all the kind of stuff that's already happening in the world right now, so data and everything, into this AI black box.
Okay.
And then the outcome could become like either an utopia, leave the world unchanged, or a dystopia. So beautiful things happening, nothing changing, or a complete catastrophe.
Wow.
And yeah, of course, things could go very wrong, but things could also go very good.
Yeah.
So that, like, my point of view on this is like, there's that famous quote that says like, what if you fall? Oh yes, but what if you fly?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's how I see artificial intelligence. Like, we should not like be like slow things down and everything because we are scared to fall. Like, we should keep doing it because, like, what if you fly?
Exactly. That's the thing. What if you fly? Very nice quote. So yeah, about your quotes, you are a very inspiring guy. Tell me about your inspirations. Who has inspired you?
Who has inspired me?
Yeah.
So there are two kinds of people, like in life there are two kinds of people who inspire you. One are like people you actually meet in real life, and the other one is like people you read blogs about or books and everything. So actually I fell in love with computer science, with like the person who inspired me and made me fall in love with computer science was a real person I met in real life.
Real life.
And it was it's a crazy story because like I used to dance, and like there was this dance instructor of mine who started talking about like the P versus and P problem during dance lessons.
Wow.
Which is like it's something, you know, Naval Ravikant says, when you go to a circus and you see an elephant, okay, that's interesting, but not that much. If you go to a circus and you see a man on a unicycle, that's interesting, but not that much.
Yeah.
But if you go to a circus and you see an elephant on a unicycle, now that's freaking interesting, no?
Yes.
So yeah, like talking about the P versus NP problem during a dance class was like crazy. It blew my mind, and from there, like I started asking, okay, where can I learn more about this? This is so interesting. I want to learn more about it. And so I started taking like courses and stuff online. So this was the first person who inspired all this kind of a snowball effect.
A real person whom you have met. Very nice.
Yes, exactly. Because in the end, every time something big shifts in your life, I guess it is because of something very practical, which you can which has a huge real emotional impact on you.
Yeah.
And with all this kind of digital stuff, yes, it can happen. You can read a book that changed your life, but usually I would say that the seeds are always like very real, like very tangible.
Very true, very true. It should be like that, tangible. So yeah, about that, you quoted Naval Ravikant.
Yes.
It strikes my mind. Naval Ravikant, Indian origin. I mean, tell me more about him. I mean, what inspires of him to you?
Yes.
Tell me about Naval Ravikant. How he inspired you?
If of course, my dance instructor wasn't the only person who inspired me, whom I met in person.
Yeah.
But also like Naval is the big one who inspired me via video and podcast and books, the almanac and everything. Yeah, so Naval Ravikant like really touched me because he's into like business and tech and startups and all this kind of business world, but also very focused on like life and well-being, wellness, balance, philosophy, science, much more like that.
He said something about the fit body and the fit mind, right?
Yeah, exactly. The big quote from him is like a calm mind, a fit body, and an house full of love. These things cannot be bought. They must be earned.
Exactly, they must be earned. That's a very nice quote from Naval Ravikant.
Yeah, it's a nice quote to live by.
Yeah, to live by. And
whenever I feel lost, the Almanac of Naval Ravikant is like my go-to book.
Very nice.
Yes.
So the Almanac.
The Almanac of Naval Ravikant.
Okay.
You can also listen to his podcast. There's a 3-hour mega-sode which is called How to Get Rich, which despite the clickbait title is like a gold mines, highly recommended.
Okay.
But also like the Almanac is great.
Okay. And your other inspirations from Indian origin, if any?
Yeah, I mean, of course, everything I learn about computer science is influenced by Indian people like you, making tutorials and courses and classes on the internet.
So
we are so grateful for you guys.
So it's like an Indian guy on the YouTube teaching you things. Oh wow.
Yes, I like my computer science skills are so influenced by Indian guy. You have no idea. We are so grateful for you guys. You are the best.
Oh wow, thank you for that. You are also very nice people. And very nice to know that it's always the Indian guys who are making so much efforts on YouTubes, because this is sailing throughout the world. That's nice, and students are getting help.
Yes, from India to Rome, the whole world is benefiting from it. So keep doing it.
Yes, it should be a collaboration of humanity. I mean, we should not keep everything like close to our borders. I mean, we should help each other as humanity and grow together. That's the thing. And you went to Silicon Valley. Tell me your experience of the place.
Yes, San Francisco. So yeah, San Francisco is like the capital of tech and startups. So the same way, if you're into cinema and you go to Los Angeles, that's like heaven. If you're into finance and you go to New York, Wall Street, that's like heaven. If you're into tech and you go to San Francisco, that's like heaven.
Oh wow!
Yes.
So you've been so lucky to be in San Francisco, and you see, what was the experience? Like, what would you want to share from the experience of San Francisco, which elevated you?
Okay, so San Francisco is crazy in many ways. One thing you notice is that like everybody you meet on the street is like either like a startup guy trying to change the world or something, or like a tech genius working at some big company, contributing a lot of art engineering stuff and managing people, and also like crazy geniuses. Because like one thing to note is that like San Francisco is very expensive when it comes to renting.
Yeah.
So if you're not like into tech, like if you're like an Uber driver or
Yeah.
like a cashier or something like
Yeah.
that, it's really like you really struggle
Okay.
to live there, which makes this effect happen that like if you're in San Francisco, you meet people, everybody's like a tech geek
Okay.
or homeless. Like this is San Francisco. Like
Everybody is either a tech geek or homeless.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
On the two sides of the extreme. Like either you're like a tech geek
Yeah.
earning I don't know 200K and up a year if you're an entrepreneur, and you're slightly successful, it's much more, and or it's like a complete homeless that like can't really afford
see.
anything there, and
I see.
yeah. So
And like, who are these people? Are they all Americans?
not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's crazy. Where are they from? Probably.
There's a lot of people from India,
Wow.
as you can imagine. You guys are great engineers.
So it's like the Indians are everywhere there in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, exactly. I
Okay.
don't have some. I guess if you Google some data, you can see much more accurately.
Yeah.
And I guess Indians are there are lots of Indians in,
Okay.
in San
And
Francisco.
also Asians, like Chinese people and maybe Japanese people, isn't it?
You should like do a research and see the data.
Yeah.
I haven't seen many of them there.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure, there's people from all over the world in there. It's definitely not only Americans.
That's
It's
crazy.
full-
Like, I mean, it's full of people from all over the world. That's
Yeah,
nice. I mean,
exactly.
it's a complete scene of globalization. All international people. That's very nice.
Yes, for example, when you speak with people, everybody has its own accent.
Yeah.
And you know that they're not American English.
Of course
people.
not. Yeah. That's very nice. That's a nice experience to have.
Yes. Also, you told me that in India there's actually this
Yeah.
Silicon Valley of India, right?
Yeah, I
Which
mean,
made me very
I mean,
attracted.
the kind of influence that kind of experience you had in San Francisco. You said like everybody is a CEO on the streets. I mean, there is a similar place in India, Bangalore. I mean, there are like lots of engineers and CEOs all around. I mean, this is common. The population density of CEOs is much more in Bangalore. And then these other places, Noida and other places are there in India. These are like tech hubs, and right now some IT boom is going on in India, and people are starting a lot of startups.